Stop us. We heard it before. What a career year it has been for Scottie Scheffler. Back in March, became the first player to successfully defend his title at the Players flagship event of the PGA Tour. Final on 64 to win and come from behind fashion. And no, he wasn't done. April, Augusta National, slipped on the green jacket for a second time in his career. Final round, 4 under 68 to win by 3. What a season it's been. 18 starts. 15 top 10s. In fact, over the weekend in Denver, one of his 3 non-top 10s. No missed cuts. It's been remarkable. 6 wins, couple runner-ups, won a gold medal in Paris. Here's world number 1, the media in Atlanta.
I think everybody's dealing with a little something at the end of the year. Like you said, it's been a long season, especially now with the way the new schedule is. It's really is a sprint to get here. You know, there's not really places in the schedule to take large breaks. You know, you have the beginning of the year where you're kind of getting, warmed up in a sense, even though you pretty much got to start the year ready to go. But then, March you have the Players, April Masters, May PGA, June US Open, July you have the Open Championship, and then you come to August and you got the FedEx Cup playoffs. So there's really not a time of the year where you're taking a break until, for us, after either the President's Cup or Ryder Cup. And so it definitely is a lot of a sprint, and I'm sure people got little aches and pains, but didn't play all year to just get tired at East Lake and kind of just throw in the towel. So, it's good competition this week. I think the golf course is going to be pretty challenging, and it should be a fun week.
We got one on the right here, and then we'll go to Doug.
Hi, Scotty. In terms of the staggered format this week, I just wanted to know your thoughts on that. Do you think it's the right approach to this event, this season finale?
It depends how you want to describe it. If you want to just have a player that's playing the best at the end of the year, I think that the playoffs will definitely identify that player. In terms of the season-long race, it's not always going to be the guy that plays the best the whole season. It's going to be the guy that plays the best in these playoff events. And that's really what you're identifying, is the guy that plays the best in these last 3 events. And it's a format that's changed a bunch over the years, a few times. In terms of when it first got started, you had a year where I think it was Padraig Harrington won 2 majors and maybe didn't make the BMW, and I know he didn't make this tournament. And so arguably it wasn't really a great setup then, and then you change the points to be a little bit less valuable in the playoffs, but you still see a lot of volatility. Like, you look at a guy like Keegan Bradley, who shows up last week and has a great week and wins the tournament, and now all of a sudden he goes from not being in East Lake to having a really, really great chance to win the FedEx Cup. And so I think it provides a little bit of volatility, which is good for the fans, and I think it's also good for some players that are at didn't have their best years leading up to get into the playoffs and all of a sudden turn a year that's not their best into somewhat of a career year in terms of winning the FedEx Cup. So a lot of volatility, but at the end of the day, golf is golf, and the easiest way to solve an issue that you don't like in the game of golf is to play better. That's really all it comes down to in our game. Is at the end of the day, if you play good enough golf, it will take care of itself.
Go to Doug, and then we go
kind of along those lines, Scotty. Do you feel any differently going into Thursday than you did at Memphis, at Phoenix, Palm Springs, Augusta?
Just like in terms of the tournament?
Yeah, just your outlook toward it. Are you feeling any differently?
I'm trying not to treat it any differently. Like I said, the starting strokes format is a bit different. It's not a traditional golf tournament, but at the end of the day, the format is what it is, and I'm going to try to approach it the same way I approach other tournaments, and that's stepping up on the first tee and doing my best to execute, just like I would at the Masters, at the RBC Heritage, at Palm Springs. Every tournament, I'm stepping up on the first tee, seeing my shot and trying to hit that shot, and then going from there. When I see Xander winning a golf tournament and winning multiple majors in 1 year, I just look at him as a person that has really earned that. He put in the work, he's made the right sacrifices, and he's earned those wins and played good at the right time. And so, I'm typically not one of the guys that's there after the tournament. Once the tournament ends, I usually leave. But like this year after the Open, I wanted to make it a point to stay inside scoring and congratulate him when he got in, just because, first of all, he's a great guy, and second of all, I was really happy for him to be able to accomplish what he's accomplishing. And I think sometimes I get a touch frustrated with the questions people ask, is like, well, whose year would you rather have? Would you rather have Xander's year or Scotty's year? And it's like, can't we just enjoy some great golf that's been played this year? You had a guy win multiple major championships, and you had a season like mine where I was able to win a good amount of times. And I think it's one of those things where we should just sit back and enjoy it. And, I'm just grateful for the year that I've had. I'm grateful for Xander's year, and I'm looking forward to competing for the FedEx Cup with 28 other guys. And I think it's something that we should just enjoy instead of, focusing on the comparisons all the time.
And just a reminder, this is what your FedEx Cup top 10 standings look like, with Scottie Scheffler pacing the field, Xander Schauffele. Hideki Matsuyama, interestingly enough, was a WD last week at the BMW Championship, did not lose his position in the third hole. How about Xander Schauffele's season, Damon Hack? As impressive as Scottie Scheffler's was, look at Xander's. Those 2 wins, those are biggies, 2 major championships. Xander Schauffele also met with the media today at East Lake.
It's the best position I've ever been coming in. Feel pretty good. I've been trying to get myself to trend a little bit better through Memphis and the BMW, and I feel like I've done a decent job at that. So, yeah, just trying to learn a new golf course and get ready for this week.
We'll go ahead and open right to questions. We'll start with Fergie.
What was your first impression of the new East Lake?
It's just new. It's firm, it's fast, needs to settle in. It's a very brand new. I'm not huge in agronomy, but I've played some new courses before, and they're a little bouncy, and however it was designed to be played, it's going to be a little bit different, for the first 2 years, just because it hasn't settled in.
Steve?
Yeah, Xander, given your record here, was there any part of you wanted to maybe throw yourself in front of a bulldozer here and stop all this?
100%, yeah.
And
absolutely. My caddy as well. He probably would have gone first.
And how does this, I mean, your record here is better than anyone's. How does this affect that now?
It's just a new golf course. I've kind of a half glass half full guy, so I've played a lot of new courses this year that I've done okay at, and this is a brand new property. It's literally, the bunkers are new, the grass is new in the fairways, the greens are new, the grass on the greens are new, the runouts are different, the slopes are different. I think the only thing that's the same are the directions of the hole. So whatever record I had is the past. I have no memory or anything really on any hole to go off of. Not even the tree I could aim at that I used to aim at. It's just that different. So to me, it's got the same name. It's East Lake Golf Club. It's in the same property, similar square footage, but that's about it.
Great to hear from the top 2 guys in the world, also the top 2 guys in the FedEx Cup standing. So I want to go back to the first playoff leg in Memphis. They played together Thursday. They walk out of the scoring chair together. Xander goes to the mic first, and then he sees Scottie right behind him, and he says, "Do you want to go first?" So Scottie goes first. Xander sits down. Both guys absolutely pooped. It's 1,000,000 degrees in Memphis. The golf course is absolutely kicking their tails. They've had the greatest seasons that we've seen in the last few years, but they are exhausted. If that's what you want the playoffs to be, battle of attrition, baby, we are there.
I think we're about to find out this week at the Tour Championship whether last week's Scottie Scheffler performance in the BMW Championship was an anomaly or whether he actually is, in your words, pooped. That was the first time at Castle Pines that Scottie Scheffler has lost strokes to the field with his approach play in more than 2 years. Wow. I think reasonable people can probably chalk that up to the altitude adjustment that perhaps he and Ted Scott were not able to make. But I think the bigger thing to me, and something that I want to watch this week at East Lake, was Scottie Scheffler's patience wearing thin. Some of those uncharacteristic outbursts that we're not used to seeing from Scottie Scheffler, that, we both have young children, is typically a sign of fatigue when you see that sort of, of lashing out. You mentioned it was 110-degree heat index in Memphis. They were at 6,400 feet of elevation last week in Denver. Now you're back in hot and steamy Atlanta. Scottie Scheffler has entered this Tour Championship each of the last 2 years in the #1 seed and not gotten it done. It is taxing mentally to be in the lead for 4 consecutive days, which Scottie Scheffler is hoping to do. He's going to get a well-deserved break at some point. After this Tour Championship, he's going to have a couple weeks off before he gets the President's Cup. Then he's essentially going to be shutting it down for the remainder of 2024. But Scottie Scheffler knows that he has to summon 4 more great days of golf if he wants to pay the season off in the right way.
I was with Sam Burns yesterday, 5-time winner on the PGA Tour in Atlanta, and I just said, how hard do you guys work? What does it take? And he talked about visiting the physio twice a day before his round of golf and at the end of the day, just to try to keep in shape his body and swing where he wants it to be. All these guys, especially at the top, how do I finish this year stronger than I did the year before? It's top of mind. Xander was going to the range after his rounds in Memphis. He's like, this is what my job is. And I love the fact that it's come down to these two players who are constantly asked, oh, which season would you rather have? Or other players in the locker room ask, whose season? And I love what Scottie had to say. You know what? Both are great. I don't think Xander would trade his season for Scottie. I don't think Scottie would trade his year for Xander. Do you?
I don't think so. And Xander's such an interesting player when you look at this season finale, because we just talked about Scottie Scheffler and his fitness level, where he is right now mentally. Can he sort of have the mental fortitude to get through these remaining 4 days?
Right.
Xander Schauffele, over the past year, has talked a lot about using sort of Eastlake as a barometer for him. He views that as a golf course where he really saw that length and distance was going to be an advantage. So he has worked tirelessly with his swing coach, Chris Como, to add more distance, to add more speed. He's added 3 miles an hour of club head speed. You never see that on the PG Tour. He's now inside the top 10 on the PG Tour, but also at Eastlake. He played a couple years ago with Rory McIlroy while Rory was romping to his third FedEx Cup title. And Xander was feeling gassed. He was overwhelmed in the heat, and he would look across the fairway and see Rory McIlroy strutting and stomping his way to get another FedEx Cup title. And Xander Schauffele said, I need to get in the gym. I need to be fitter. I need to be healthier. This is a great proving ground for Xander Schauffele to see how far he has come in sort of closing that gap between not just Rory, but also Scottie Scheffler as the world number one.
And it was a year ago where Xander shot that final round 62 at Eastlake, breathing down the neck of Victor Hovland. What a great Sunday that was. And you have to wonder how much institutional knowledge has been lost with this restoration by Andrew Green. And Xander talked about it in press. The greens are different. The grass is different. The fairways are different. The golf course is different. Some say that should he win this week, that Xander has a case to be made as the player of the year. I don't think so. I think it's done and dusted. No matter what happens this week in Atlanta, I think 6 wins, including a second green jacket, including a back-to-back players, including 4 signature events, and a gold medal, though I know it doesn't count on the PGA Tour. It counts.
It doesn't.
It's an Olympic gold medal, and the players know what happened. Do you think that something that happened in Atlanta, anything that happens this week, can affect that player of the year debate?
So among the players, and the players that I talked to last week at the BMW Championship, by and large, they told me that Scottie Scheffler has played the best golf in 2024, and thus he should be the player of the year. But they would rather have Xander Schauffele's year. And I think that's a reminder that in 10 years, players are going to care less about whether you won the Memorial or the Travelers Championship or any other signature events on the PGA Tour. And they all know that their legacies are going to be defined by how many major championships they won.
What about back-to-back players? No one had ever done it before. It was one of those little factoids that we just figured would,
2 Masters titles
Tiger didn't do it.
In 3 years, I think is a better span and something that players would more want to have. And so, yes,
we always talk about how you have to have the reason no one ever gone back-to-back with the players because it's hard to have your game that razor sharp, that tight. To go back-to-back.
Sawgrass rules out like 25%. It's too claustrophobic. I do think it's interesting. I do think if Xander Schauffele does win the FedEx Cup title, I do think he will sway some votes. When you look at his body of work over the year, the 2 majors, $25 million, the quote-unquote season-long champ, although we could probably do with some of the format. It's going to be very interesting. Scottie Scheffler will be the player of the year, but I do think it's going to be very close.